How you doing? This is Lance Hendrickson, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
Aha, hi, this is Herschel Gordon Lewis, and you are listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, we're back. Welcome to the Station of Decapitation, WithoutYourHead.com. I am Nasty Neil, along with my cohorts in crime. Oh, Jittery John.
That would make me Terrible Troy.
And I'm Annabelle Lecter.
Well, and we are joined right off the bat here by A. Michael Baldwin. He was in the Phantasm films, and now he's in the new film, Brutal. How are you doing?
Hello, everyone.
Now, you've been out, out of films for a while. I think it's been 12 years.
Well, in front of the camera, that's true. Mostly I've been behind the camera that whole time, however. So in the business, just not as an actor.
All right. Well, was there any reason why you decided to go more behind the camera?
Yeah. I think that if you spend half your life doing one particular thing, it's probably time to try something else. So, I've been in the business my whole life, and eventually one day I was pretty much just kind of done. Time to stay in the business and just go on the other side. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been doing.
How'd you get involved in Brutal? Because I know the director said he always wanted you as the lead. Did he contact you?
He did. As many people do. Through the magic of Facebook, basically. He sort of started courting me there, and one thing led to another, and pretty soon it's not uncommon. People will contact me there and want me to read their screenplay or something like that, and his screenplay was pretty different than most of the ones that I read, and I liked it. It was good. And he turned out to Michael Patrick Stevens. He turned out to be a stand-up guy, and we got along real well. And next thing you know, we're making a movie.
Yeah. Well, what was it specifically that really stuck out to you?
Well, if I tell you that, then it will mean kind of giving away.
All right. We don't want to spoil the movie here. Yes.
Yeah, it will. And the movie's easy to spoil. It's got a certain kind of thing going on where you don't really want to. Mm-hmm. It's got an obvious spoiler. So if I tell the truth about that, then I'll be spoiling it. So that aside, it was well written, and I thought it was the right kind of part for me to do. I think that's pretty much all I can really say.
Yeah. We've seen the movie, and we don't spoil it either. But there is like a twist.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, It's a clever movie.
Thanks. I'm glad you guys like it.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a question, Annabelle? We actually have a caller here on the line.
Go with that.
He's been waiting on hold to talk to him. We got Robbie on the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Rob. How are you?
Was that your question?
Good. I heard back when Phantasm was released, there was a dispute between you guys and the folks who made Star Wars because of the Ewoks.
No dispute. No dispute at all. I do remember in the middle of shooting Phantasm that one of the camera guys, second AC, I think, came to set that day, and he had a little paperback book of this thing called Star Wars. And I guess it was like the novelization of the screenplay, right? And it had that original old poster, the very first poster. And I remember just being so intrigued by that movie. And we were already well into making Phantasm, so no one had even seen Star Wars at the time. So was there a dispute? I don't think there was a dispute. Their movie came out before ours did, and we were like, oh, that's the similarity, and there was just nothing to do about it, really.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have to ask Coscarelli if there was an actual dispute. I don't think there was one. We were way too small for them to care,
Great. Well, thanks for taking my call, and you're the man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for calling, Robbie. How did that change your life, being in a horror movie so young in life?
I don't know how it changed my life. It's changed it much more now than it did then, to tell you the truth. I mean, changed in quotes. At the time I was working, and I was a working actor before Phantasm, and so it was just another job, and the movie seemed to have some success at the time, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it, to tell you the truth. I mean, I went to school and went on with my life, and that was really it.
Yeah. Well, I guess you wouldn't know what the difference, would be, because that was your life. You were in movies.
It was. It's true. I mean, I had been working since I was seven or 8 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question about your background. What sorts of films got you interested in becoming an actor? What inspired you, and what parts were you hoping to eventually play at the time?
What a good question that is.
Thank you.
You know, I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me and our family to, in Los Angeles, there's a theater called the Cinerama Dome. And at the time, it was the only theater, at least in L.A., that could show 70-millimeter films. And my dad would take us once a year. They would show 2001: A Space Odyssey. My dad would we'll go to the theater, and we would see this big, epic, crazy, drug-induced space movie. And, you know, I was quite young when that movie came out. I was quite little, but we would go every single year and then talk about the movie, and it would be this big, you know, this big family discussion as to what the hell that movie was about. And I just grew up loving that, the depth and the quality of that film. And so Stanley Kubrick, of course, became one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. And, you know, it's films like that. I think that the very first movie or maybe the second film I ever saw in a theater, also as a little kid, was speaking of George Lucas, was THX 1138, another weird future movie. So being really little and seeing these strange films, it definitely had an impact. I really never forgot it. Never forgot those experiences.
Now, your father was involved in movies, right?
Yeah, he's a filmmaker, an animator, and he's retired now, but he was a cartoonist and an animation producer for 50 years, something like that. Long time.
You know, speaking of Phantasm, was Angus Grimm, the tall man, was he as creepy, you know, to you, you know, off camera as he looked to be on camera?
That's funny. A lot of people ask that question. You know, the sister question is, you know, is it scary to make scary movies? And the answer is no and no.
Uh-huh.
You know, because really, it's very technical and kind of a slow process. And there's lots of discussion, and it's you know, it's nothing like the experience of making the film is absolutely nothing like the experience of watching the movie. The two are just not similar. So, you know, he just happens to be a really nice, gentlemanly guy, and he always was.
Yeah.
Well, so no, I wasn't afraid of Angus.
All right. No, you know, the director of Brutal is also in the movie, the co-director. And, you know, what did you think of him for, you know, it's his first time making a film, his first time acting in a film, I believe?
I thought he was nuts to do it. And I told him, I said, you know, you don't quite realize what you're biting off here, man. You need to, like, think twice about this. I said, why don't you just choose one or the other, you know? You're already the writer of the movie. Why don't you, like, just be the director or just be the actor? You don't really need to do all these things. But, you know, obviously he didn't listen to a word I said, thank God, because he's quite good in the film.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty scary himself on camera, yeah.
He's very scary in that jumpsuit. He looks horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible in a good way.
Right. When he contacted me about coming on the show and whatnot, when I saw his regular picture, then he's like, you know, I'm the guy that's beating up Baldwin in the trailer. I was like, it is, and I was, you know, out of character. He looks like a normal guy.
He looks like a sweetheart.
Right. Exactly.
And he is a sweetheart. He absolutely is.
Yeah. Now, you know, a lot of the film, you're sitting down, you're tied up. Was that hard to do? To you know, do the majority of the film sitting down?
Yeah, it was very challenging. As a matter of fact, it was one of the hardest filmmaking experiences that I ever had to deal with. It was tough. You know, the chair is hard, and that basement we shot in was freezing. We were in Portland in the winter.
Oh.
It was very cold, and I'm like half naked through the whole movie, so it was challenging. And you know, you've got all that fake blood on you, and it's very sticky and uncomfortable. And then my hands are chained, and you're struggling against these chains and stuff. So it, you know, bruises and painful, and it was fairly miserable.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that?
There's some rewarding parts to it too. You know, it was, you know, it's fun, sorta, but it's a sort of level of intensity to keep that up day after day, which is challenging.
Mm-hmm. Now, like, what do you go with? What do you prepare? How do you prepare to, you know, play that type of role where you're being tortured? Man,
another good question. I racked my brain about how to prepare. You know, I pretty pretty adept at, or at least knowledge-wise, as to how to prepare for things. But I really was at a loss with how to prepare for that kind of, for a torture movie. I talked to a lot of people and friends and coaches and actors, and I was just like, I don't know what to do to prepare. So all I really did was I just worked out like a fiend, tried to get into good shape so that I wouldn't be embarrassed with my shirt off half the whole week, That's pretty much it. And then they call action, and I just go. There wasn't anything to do. I mean, I don't know, I really don't, still to this day, don't know how you really prepare for that kind of thing. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. I guess maybe you could have someone torture you.
Yeah, I don't really think I want to do that. I don't want to make this a reality in any way, believe me.
Right.
Definitely one of the reservations of this kind of film and being involved in it is that, I've always said that the kind of horror movies that I like are the kinds that are more of a fantasy horror film. Like I like Alien.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig a monster movie where the evil character is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I can dig that, but I don't know. Yeah. Scary movies where it's about a real person and the hideous things that men do to other people. That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as an actor, it is very challenging to do this kind of work where it might bring certain things to the surface for you, or people that you might know, and make you consider situations like that?
Well, I think you have to kind of consider things like that, but it's the work that we do, and so there was something about the role that attracted me to it, and I certainly wasn't going to not do it because of that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the hardest part of doing the movie?
Well, I think I said it already. Just having to reach levels of intensity at the drop of a hat all day long for days and days and days and days and days.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds exhausting.
And then also trying to be sure that the performance is colored, that it's not like this one level of terror the whole way. It has to go someplace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult, it's challenging.
Mm-hmm. Now, something I picked up when I was watching the movie was when you have the scar on your head, and then later on there's nails through the palm of your hands, or actually through your wrist.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be like kind of images of Jesus, or was that just something I dreamt up myself?
I think you'll have to ask the filmmaker that question.
You'll be on later on.
I've heard.
All right. We'll also have the composer on later on. How do you think his score added to the film?
I think it adds greatly to it. I think that Alan is a titanic talent, and that he really, really helped the movie a lot. No question about it. Don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Did you? I assume you've seen the finished project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see it before and after they added the score? I don't know if you could tell the difference.
That's a good question. No, I don't think I did.
Because I know they always say in Halloween, without the score, it's not scary, and then when they added the score, it really added a lot to the film. Made it scary.
I waited as long as I could before I saw the film. I waited till it was, at least there was one complete pass.
Yeah. Was there anything edited out of the movie that you wish wasn't, or was it pretty much what you guys filmed?
I think the movie is pretty good the way it is. I usually don't get the opportunity to look at takes that weren't used or other camera angles, things that didn't get used. In this case, I've had the opportunity to do that, and I don't think the movie is really, to be honest, is 100% cut. I think that there's some more work to be done.
Oh, okay. You think it should be a little trimmed up a little bit?
I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Annabelle, do you have any other questions?
I feel like I did, and it slipped my mind. How about you guys?
I was going to ask you actually about the mouth being taped shut, because it looked like your mouth was really taped shut.
Well, yeah, it's not it's not really taped shut. It's a rig, so the back of the sticky side of the gaffer's tape or the duct tape has a piece of tape on it itself. So it really actually doesn't really have sticky on the other side.
It was done very realistically. I've seen movies where it isn't, but they look good.
Yeah, a lot of times it looks really loose and stuff. And that one, it looked like you couldn't, like, speak or breathe at all.
Well, that's Michael and I working together and talking, and that's us, coordinating and agreeing before we do these takes. Okay, like he's being too careful, and I'm saying no, you need to go for it, and trying to every moment be willing to let the realism be there. And in order for that in order to do that, you're gonna get banged up from time to time.
Mm-hmm. I do have another question. I believe you've done work as a teacher. Do you feel like you were utilized a lot as a teacher and as a help in the production of this movie, that you kind of helped guide along his vision? You just have to ask Michael that question. I was definitely, the most experienced filmmaker on the set, probably. It's the kind of film where, in order to make that movie up for the kind of budget that was available, where, you really are working with quite a young crew in some cases, and I did my best. I tried to guide when possible, but you know what? I'm mostly keeping my mouth shut, to tell you the truth, and letting the other people do their jobs that they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to let some people know about some of the films you made or some of the things you directed?
Well, I've mostly done, television pilots and commercial work and stuff like that. And, I have a film production company here in Austin where I live, and so we do all kinds of short-form films and videos of all types.
Mm-hmm. So
I've written 1,000 screenplays, and I've worked pretty much my whole life in the business.
Mm-hmm. Crystal Barron on the Facebook, she wants to know, which Phantasm do you think is the best?
Well, I think the best, obviously, just for Phantasm 1 is, it stands alone as an odd and special little movie. And the 70s hairdos aside, it really stands the test of time. I think it really is a unique and interesting film with a lot of different kind of new things in it that hadn't been seen before at that time. And it's also a big part of my childhood and stuff. So it's hard not to pick the first Phantasm as my favorite. Having said that, however, I produced Phantasm 4, and so that's definitely one of the more challenging jobs I ever had to do, was to star in the movie and produce it at the same time. So really hard work, but so I remain proud of that movie because when I look at that film, I see the work involved.
Mm-hmm. Any talks of a fifth one, or?
Well, all I can say is not to my knowledge.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
Anything's possible.
I'm surprised you haven't remade it. I mean, the remakes, all kinds of films.
That's true.
In a way, that's a movie that could benefit.
That was actually on the table for a while there. A couple of years back, it was on the table, and I don't know, it went away. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Was there ever a point in time you got because some of the people we talked to, if they were in a big film when they were young, they get kind of, at some point in time, they get tired of people asking about it. Did you ever go through that?
That's funny about that, because I was just telling someone earlier today that I did another interview earlier today, and they asked me a similar question, and for most of my life, I didn't really realize that Phantasm was anything that anybody knew about even.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't even get that it was something that people knew about until pretty recent, until 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I went to I had never gone to these horror conventions before. Maybe I'd done one in the last 25 years. And then about 5-6 years ago, I went to Flashback Weekend in Chicago. And all the cast was there, and from Phantasm was like a reunion kind of deal. And that was the first one that I'd really been to where I was paying attention. I wasn't, kind of nervous about, horror fans and stuff. And I was amazed at the long lines and the people who were so happy and gracious to meet us all. I was impressed as hell. I think that was the first time I really understood. I just heard story after story of people meeting me and the other cast members, and saying that, this was the movie that I saw at the right age, at the right time, and it just had a lasting impact on me. And people who were just so so gracious and happy to meet us. It really was an eye opener for me.
Yeah. What's the strangest thing?
So the answer to your question is, well, no, it didn't really bother me. Because I haven't been doing it for that long. I haven't really been talking about Phantasm every day for the last 35 years.
You saying, John? Oh, I was just going to ask him because he's talking about the conventions. What's the strangest thing anybody had you sign?
I'm afraid I don't think I can say that on the family show, isn't it?
No. Feel free.
Well,
the show will get much worse later.
Nothing too strange. Fortunately, I've signed my fair share of breasts, But the weirdest thing to see is like my face tattooed on some dude's giant calf. I don't know, I've seen that a few times. Yeah. Somebody has my image tattooed on their body somewhere. That's a little bit odd.
I'm very proud of that tattoo.
Oh, it's you! Oh my God.
Annabelle, you have a question?
Yeah, question. As far as acting, and if you could choose any project or role that would be like your ultimate dream role, what would you want to do?
I don't really know, Annabelle. I don't know what the dream role is for me. I really don't. My focus, for most of my adult life has not been as an actor, other than as a coach.
Yeah.
So I have, a dream role. I don't know. I guess. Oh, I know. I wouldn't mind playing Sweeney Todd.
Oh,
Broadway. How about that?
Great coincidence. We just watched the original.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I could dig that. A dream role. That's what I'm going to say from now on. Dream role. Sweeney Todd.
Uh-huh.
Excellent.
It's very likely not going to happen, but it's a dream role, so I can see anything I want, right?
Exactly.
Do you have a particular favorite Sweeney Todd besides if you got the role yourself?
Well, I listened to that original Broadway cast album so many times, and I it's hard to beat Angela Lansbury. She's such a marvel.
Mm-hmm.
So that Len Cariou production, I'd have to just go with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what I don't like. I sure don't like Johnny Depp and what's her name, and I don't like that movie at all.
I might
like
be the minority.
I think in other areas, those people are great. But I really, nothing against Tim Burton exactly, but man, boy, do I not like that film. I really hate it.
I think we share some similar feelings on that topic.
I'm in the minority here. I'm a fan of the movie.
And I love it too, Neil.
Right.
But I also love the Broadway one too.
Now, what has been like the fan reaction to Brutal? Or has that? I guess they haven't seen it yet.
Well, yeah, it hasn't. It has hardly come out. It hasn't come out. It doesn't even have a distribution deal yet. So it's very recent. I've just seen a few reviews that have just happened in the last couple of weeks. So other than that, we haven't heard anything. So we're looking forward to seeing what people. I'm hoping that people like the movie.
The reviews I've seen have been very positive on your acting. Actually, positive on the whole movie.
They have, and it's gratifying because I'll tell you, it's hard to look at yourself on something like that and think that, oh, I'm great, or oh, I suck. You can't tell. I don't even know what it's hard to watch.
Mm-hmm. I'm the opposite. I think I'm awesome and everything.
That's true.
You're not supposed to agree with that so quickly. But I guess this would be more of a question for the director later on. But are there any plans to show this at film festivals or conventions or anything?
Well, you should ask him that. He'll have the better details. But the answer is yes. And in fact, I think its festival debut will be this month in Kansas City at Crypticon.
Oh.
Nice.
Pretty sweet.
I'm pretty sure. I think that's the plan, and I'll be there also signing autographs with the rest of the people that weekend. And then also that weekend in Canada, it'll premiere at a different festival, Rue Morgue Festival, somewhere in maybe in Toronto or something. You have to ask Michael.
Well, that's pretty cool. Has this movie reinvigorated the bug to be on camera more often?
If it's easy, yeah. The worst thing about, the acting business is having to audition all the time and the grind of auditioning. So if it can at least lighten that load, then maybe.
Mm-hmm. And the website is brutalmovie.net. I almost said .com, but it's .net. And we'll have the link right on the website. Do you have a website or a way to contact you if anybody wants to contact you?
Facebook is the only way, man.
Okay. It's the future.
Feel free to friend me on Facebook. Anybody,
Excellent.
Pretty much say yes.
Yeah. Is there if you could tell everybody out there a reason why they should see this movie when it's available, what would you tell them?
I'd say it's a really different movie with a very interesting kind of heart to it, and I think that it has a story to tell in there that's rather surprising. I know it has a certain kind of twist that is so far people say completely taken them by surprise. So for the kind of person that likes this genre, I think they'll probably like it.
We want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Hey, this is Alan Troutman, and you are